Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really fun and simple art journaling page using very few products. This is perfect for beginners or just anyone wanting to do a quick art journaling spread. So today I'm going to be working on the Dina Wakley Media Journal. It's the 6x6 journal. It has heavyweight cotton paper, really nice thick pages that just hold liquid very well, and just a really nice paper to work on. So the first thing we're going to use is the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide spray. And I will have links to all these products down below in the information on this video, but also at the end of the video I'm going to show you how you can get all these products in my subscription kit if you want everything to be able to do this page. Anyway, I'm taking this spray and I am going to put it on my waterproof sheet here. It's just a craft sheet, and adding some water. I'm just going to use it kind of like a watercolor and brush it over my pages, just really rough, just to get some color in the background. And you'll see this paper absorbs the spray really quickly and really nice. So I'm just covering the page. I'm adding water to my brush to spread some of that ink around. And oxide sprays are affected by water. That's what the oxide is. It changes color depending on how much water you add to it. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to use just this oxide spray on these pages to get some really neat effects without needing lots of products to start out with. If you're new to art journaling, chances are you may not have a lot of products on hand, and so it's really great to learn how to use a single product multiple ways. So I'm just going to give it a quick dry. Now I'm going to take some water on my brush and just sprinkle it on the pages. And you'll see these oxide sprays are water activated, so as soon as you add water to it, it reactivates that ink. And I'm going to take a paper towel and just blot those ink spots, and you'll see where it picks up the ink. It just creates some really nice texture on the page, and I just love the blotchiness of it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a stencil, and I'm using the Dina Wakley mashup stencil, and I'm just going to place the stencil over my page and give it a quick spray and shaking up my bottle. And I'm going to do this on both sides just to add some balance. And then when you spray, it leaves all this ink on your stencil, and I'm just going to flip it around and just press that against my page. That way it just adds a different kind of texture off the stencil, and I'm not wasting any of my product. I'm also using cardstock behind my pages to collect any of the spray over so it doesn't get on the rest of my book. And also I save these pages to use later in other art journaling spreads. So what I'm meaning to do is to spray this stencil with a spray bottle, but instead I accidentally pick up the ink and spray my hand along with the paper, but that's okay. So then I spray the water and I'm just wiping it off onto the paper. And it just creates some fun effects, and I'll reuse these papers over and over again behind my pages just to keep collecting some of the off spray and making some really fun just papers with designs on it to use in other art journaling spreads. Why waste product? Okay, so we're going to set those to the side, and making sure that my page is dry in between all the layers. Now I'm going to unscrew the cap of the Distress Oxide spray, once again, same color, and I'm just sprinkling drops on the page just to make some splatters. And we're still working with the same color, but look at all the different designs that we've been able to make just off one product, one color. And I'm just gonna pick up some of that ink that's kind of thick so that it dries faster. And we're going to make sure that this page is good and dry before we move on. See all that wonderful texture that we've gotten off of just one color, one product. Oxide sprays are some of my favorite mediums to work with. They're just so fun and so versatile. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is the bird napkin that comes in the kit. If you don't have the kit, you can use any napkin you want. These are just regular dinner napkins that you can get at any party store or even Hobby Lobby. Lots of places carry them. And we're going to be using the Ranger Multi-Medium Matte Gel Medium. Again, that little bottle comes in the kit, but you can use, I'm using the larger jar. And I'm just going to cut out one of these birds. At first I cut out the one on the left, but I didn't like how the one flower down at the bottom left-hand corner was cut off. So I decided to go ahead and use the one on the right and save the other one for another, excuse me, for another project. So when using these napkins, what you want to do is make sure that you take all the layers off except for the top layer. So you just look for the layers. Usually there's 1 or 2 layers of white, and I'm just separating it from those extra layers that just give it thickness. And I'm just using that top layer. And I'm going to use the gel medium to attach it to a piece of cardstock. And I'm just spreading a thin layer of gel on my cardstock. And I'm going to sandwich that napkin piece, the bird, with the matte gel medium. So I'm putting a thin layer underneath. I'm going to spread that on my page and smooth it out as carefully as I can. These napkins are very delicate, so you want to be careful not to tear. But even if you do tear, just work with it and put some medium over it, it'll still work. So I'm reapplying gel medium where I missed a few spots, that's why I was checking underneath, and then I'm applying a thin coat over the whole thing. I'm attaching it to the cardstock first before I cut the whole bird out, just because it's a lot easier to cut once it's attached to the cardstock and dried. Now I'm just going to dry this really well with the hair dryer, make sure it's really dry before I start cutting it out. And you can cut this out as close to the design as you want. If you want to leave some of the color, this happens to be light blue background. If you want to leave some of it, it's your page, whatever your preference is. I'm just going to give it a quick cut just to be able to lay it on my page and kind of decide where I want to position this bird. And once I decide how I want him positioned, I'm going to go ahead and keep cutting. I snipped off that top leaf because I decided I wouldn't need it. I'm going to just speed up the video while I cut for the next few minutes, just so that you don't have to sit here and watch me cut in real time. Now that I have my bird all cut out, I'm just going to reposition him just to, again, double check, just make sure I know where I want him. I was playing around with adding this extra leaf somewhere on the page, and I just wasn't quite sure if I liked it on there. I kind of liked it down on the bottom, but then later on you'll see I ended up not using it at all. So now I'm going to take the Tim Holtz Distress ink pad. It is the Blueprint Sketch is actually the color. It is an older color, so I'm not even sure if this color is still available or not. I'll check on that. But I'm just going to run it along the edge of my bird just to darken up the edges and add some dimension so that he pops a little bit from the page. Okay, now that I have my bird cut out, I'm going to bring in another color, and this is the Dina Wakley Acrylic Paint Rosy, and it's just a really nice creamy paint with kind of a pearlescent finish. It's really a beautiful color, and I'm just putting some little dots on my page and spreading them out. And because it has this um, nice little fine tip, I can make little squiggles on the page, and I didn't need a paintbrush at all for this. All I used was the tip of the bottle and my finger to make those little dots. Very often I like using my finger to apply paint just because I feel like it adds it in a more natural way instead of leaving brush strokes or um, straight lines. I just like rubbing the paint into the page, but whatever your preference is, you're perfectly welcome to use a paintbrush for this as well. And if you can see, I'm trying to show you how it has kind of a shimmery look to it. It's really a beautiful color. Again, this color also comes in my kit. And I'm just going to dry this up really quick. Where the paint's a little bit thicker, it will take a little bit longer to be completely dry, but I just make sure it's dry to the touch. Now I'm going to take some double-sided foam tape, and I'm just going to cut pieces and attach them to the back of the bird so that I can attach it to my page. You can use regular double-sided tape for this. You can use the matte gel medium to attach him to your page, whatever adhesive you prefer, and whatever you happen to have on hand, you're perfectly welcome to use. I just decided to use the foam tape so that my bird will pop out from the page just a little bit and give it a little more dimension. I am going to speed through the next few minutes just because it does take a few minutes to cut all your pieces and get all the tape exactly where you want it. Once you have all your tape in position, peel off the adhesive strip and position your bird on your page. I forgot to mention it before, but while I was cutting, I did cut through that branch right there just so to make it easier to cut out that little spot between the branch and the bird. But I'm just putting some tape underneath that to stick it to my page, and you won't even notice. And then I'm just trimming up any parts that are hanging off the page. I'm playing with this little leaf, but it wasn't working for me, so I'll just save it for another time. So the next thing I'm going to do is just cut out these words. Creativity is intelligence having fun. And this is on the printable that does come in my kit. And you can use whatever words or saying speaks to you. You can also just journal or write on this page. But if you're not comfortable with writing things out by hand, these printables are a great way to just add some inspirational words to your pages without worrying about writing by hand or how it looks or anything, especially when this is your first page. Um, it's just a fun way to quickly add some inspirational words. So I just tore mine out. I didn't even use scissors, and I'm going to use the matte gel medium to attach it to my page. And I'm being careful not to take too long because that matte gel will reactivate the ink behind it. And again, I'm sandwiching it with a layer of gel medium underneath and on top to seal it to my page. And you could see there's a little bit of green on the white from the ink on the background, but that's okay. Now I'm just gonna dry this up again so everything's really good and dry. And I'm taking that same color ink that I used earlier and I'm just running it along the edge of my page. I just like doing this because I think it gives it a nice finished look to add a little bit of a dark color on the edge. And now I'm just going to use a pen. These are the Faber-Castell Pit pens, and I'm just going to use it to add some really rough lines to the edge of my words. And I just think it frames it out really nice. Just something simple. You don't have to worry about it being perfect, or just have fun with this. This whole thing about art journaling, the basis is just having fun with your products. Have fun with your art supplies. Be creative. Find new things to do with your art supplies. Find new things to do with things you didn't even know was an art supply. Creativity is intelligence having fun. I hope you had fun doing this page. I had fun doing it with you, and I hope you'll join me again. Again, this was just using very few products. This is not sponsored by Ranger. I just happen to love the Ranger products. I hope you've been inspired today to create a page on your own, and I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. So this is my garden box kit. I introduced this at the end of 2019, and what it comes with is this tissue paper that can totally be used on your pages to create texture, and it's got a little bit of sparkle to it. It comes with the Peeled Paint Distress Oxide Spray by Tim Holtz. It comes with the Dina Wakley Media Acrylic Paint Rosy, which is the other color that we use today. This paint has a really pretty satin pearlescent finish to it. Very beautiful. And it comes with a small bottle of the multi-medium matte gel, which you can also get in a larger container, and the crackle accent, which we did not use today. It comes with a nice little brush for spreading the gel or the paint, and some Smarties, because Smarties make you smarter. Who doesn't want a little bit of candy with their art journaling? And the Dina Wakley Media Stencil. This is the Shape Mashup Stencil. I love this stencil. It's just a really good stencil that has 3 different designs, and you can use them so many different ways. And 2 napkins. We use the bird one today, but it also comes with another napkin. And this printable that has the creativity is intelligence having fun, plus a few other words, some cardstock, and really everything you need to do several pages. This is just the first video, on how to put these products together, but there will be more videos, and I hope you will join us for those. Thanks for joining my channel today, and have a beautiful day.